Hello everybody, welcome to That United Stand. I nearly said that's football. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, officially a West Ham United player. Some people might say, why are you doing a video about a player leaving Manchester United? But I actually think it's really important that we as a football club reflect on these sort of things and don't just be sensationalist about signings. We came into this summer transfer window and said, how important a signing is going to be. Very important, but also the sales will be just important as well. West Ham have just announced this. I'll read it out to you. This is what they are saying. They're saying that West Ham is delighted to announce the signing of Aaron Wan-Bissaka. It feels like it's been going on for a long time, but this is actually the official breaking news. £15 million is what Man United get. I want your comments on this. Is he a flop or not, Aaron Wan-Bissaka? What are your thoughts on his time at Manchester United? Because I think he's been here for 5 years, maybe 4, but I think it's 5. Also got some news on Sancho coming in as well. But they say the right back, 26, joins the Hammers from Manchester United on a 7-year contract for an undisclosed fee, which we think is 15 million. The Londoner moves to London Stadium after making 190 appearances for the Red Devils across 5 seasons. So yeah, 5 seasons, 190 appearances, during which he developed into one of the best one-on-one defenders in the Premier League. He's won the FA Cup, the EFL Cup, and started in the Europa League final. The Crystal Palace Academy graduate has been a Premier League regular since the age of 19, appeared 35 times in European competitions. It was a no-brainer for me to join West Ham, said Wan-Bissaka. I'm excited and happy to be here, said the 26-year-old, who will wear the number 29 shirt. It's an amazing feeling to be back in London. I'm excited for what's coming. I was born here. I'm happy to be here, and I'm grateful for the warm welcome. I can't wait to get on the pitch. And so look, that's Aaron Wan-Bissaka as a player for West Ham. As a player for Manchester United, I think that it's very easy to say that it's... Look, ultimately, I wish him all the best. I think that's what I would say. That's not a given with every player that leaves this club. There's certainly been the likes of Di Maria and Tevez, where you definitely don't wish him all the best. And as Manish says, good luck to him. And Jason says, no, he's not a flop at all. And I think I agree with that. You know, we've had 5 years of Wan-Bissaka at £50 million. So if you look at it, and we don't normally look at a transfer like this, but £50 million over 5 years is 10 million a year. Has Wan-Bissaka been worth £10 million a year? And I know there's wages there, but when you start adding wages in, we've spent over £120 million on Harry Maguire. So let's not start talking about wages. As a transfer for £50 million, was Wan-Bissaka value for money? Was he a flop? And the question is, well, we've got 15 million back. So he's cost us £35 million in transfer fees over 5 years. From a transfer point of view, I don't think that's bad. I also think he's not really achieved what we wanted him to achieve, because when you buy any Man United player, you want them to end up being Cristiano Ronaldo. You want them to end up being Roy Keane. You want them to end up being, players that retire here or go to Real Madrid. And he's gone to West Ham, with all due respect. But I agree with Beans United. 6 out of 5 out of 10 is what I would give him. I wouldn't give it a 7. I wouldn't give it a 6 average. I think he's slightly above average, because even in the FA Cup final against Doku, he was invaluable defensively. And we've seen him do that job time and time again. We're selling Wan-Bissaka because we want to be more offensive. Defensively, very, very good. West Ham referenced that in their statement. I think he'll be a very good signing for them. I certainly don't think he's a dud. I certainly don't think he's a failure. I just think over 5 years, we've probably got value for money, and it's time to part ways. I certainly am not sad that he's going, but I certainly do wish him all the best, and I certainly wouldn't say he's a flop. You could be really cynical and say, well, we're Manchester United, mate. 5 years of a guy that's done okay isn't really success, is it? And I think that overarchingly is actually bluntly fair. Yes, it's not been a flop, but it's certainly not been a rip-roaring success. I mean, I think if Manchester City had had 5 years of Wan-Bissaka, they'd have had 2 years and moved him on for what they want. This is an inherent problem that's been going on at Manchester United, settling for the mediocrity over the last 10 years. But we've got a new ownership now. We've got a new status. It was very, very clear that Ten Hag wanted to move him out from day one. He's finally moved him on. He's gone to a really good club. I think he'll suit West Ham. One thing West Ham fans are going to get, and one thing West Ham United are going to get, and we saw it, is that whether Wan-Bissaka's leaving or not, the vast majority of the time he's been at this club, on the pitch, he has given his all. Now, there was rumours a few years ago from the Manchester Evening News that he was constantly late for training and stuff. But no, look, I do wish him all the best. And I think, as I said, some people are saying, why are you reacting to this? Look, some of you will watch this video and some of you will be polite enough to actually acknowledge that Manchester United isn't just about, we might sign Sander Berge, we might sign Amrabat, we might do this. We all know, if we care about this football club, that we've got to sell to buy. And we all know that selling isn't easy. And we all know that some of these players do deserve a bit of a send-off. And we have done it with other players in the past. So I don't make any apologies for making this video about Aaron Wan-Bissaka. And I don't really care how many people watch it. And I don't really care whether people say Slow Sports News. It's not Slow Sports News because it's official now. He hadn't officially signed. And, you know, we didn't get to do Here We Go for Wan-Bissaka on Saturday because there was a match. And I personally wouldn't feel that good as a community if Wan-Bissaka just went without some sort of video dedicated to him, because it's symbolic. It's symbolic of what we're trying to do. It's the first real summer sale as well. I know Greenwood went, but that was inevitable. I know Donny van der Beek went, but that was bus fare. And I know Camboire went, but he'd never really established himself. This is the first Ineos sale where I would go, you know what, they've not done too bad. And somebody in the chat just said, well, £15 million isn't very good, Mark. Well, he's got 1 year left on his contract. I agree. I think he's a £20 million centre-back, £20 million defender, maybe even 25 at a push. But with 1 year left on his contract, I think 15's about right. Zubi says, what left back do you think we will get? No idea. Kana Dave says, and I'm not being dismissive there, Zubi, I've got no idea. It's not going to be Hermoso, apparently. Thank you, Wan-Bissaka, says ND. A lot of people will feel sad. Marky says he feels sad. I don't think there's any reason to feel sad. He's had 5 years at Man United. He's done a job. He did a job. If I was doing a thumbnail on Wan-Bissaka, I'd put, he did a job. I think that sums it up in 4 short words. But it was time to move on for everybody. And look, I'm watching West Ham play Villa on Saturday on That's Football. I'm doing a watch along. I think it's West Ham have had a great transfer window. Villa were really good last year. Opening game of the week, opening Premier League weekend. I think that's a cracking game. If Wan-Bissaka's playing in it, just makes it even more interesting for me. Aaron Wan-Bissaka reminds me of how I played myself, but having the legs to go forward is hard as skill. He was great, just wrong for us now, says Kana Dave. Absolutely spot on. Robert McKeown says, hi Mark, just a small thank you for helping me info through a tough time in life at the moment, and hopefully signings hit the ground running, says Robert McKeown. Well, I hope you're doing well, Robert. Thank you very much for your super chat. Aaron Wan-Bissaka during United charts was crazy. Titanium says, shush. Remember the chart show? We need the chart show back. We need the chart show back. That was so niche and fun, and Wan-Bissaka was always very good at that. Aaron Wan-Bissaka pocketed some amazing wingers and put in that tackle in the nick of time on so many occasions. A bit lacking going forward, but amazing defensively, says John. He was the fullback that we needed at the time, says Phil. And also Klaus says, hi Mark, Wan-Bissaka overrated, out of position a lot and always jogged back and never sprinted, says Klaus. I think it was time to go. I'm not going to over-egg the pudding. I think it was time to go. Thank you for your service. Very underrated, says Daniel Sturtridge in relation to Wan-Bissaka. Look, the positives were defensively very, very good. The negatives were got caught on the back post underneath crosses a lot. And I think ultimately recruitment got it wrong. He was a Solskjaer signing, and United famously at the time put it out to the world that they'd scouted 200 right-backs to spend £50 million on Wan-Bissaka. I think ultimately they got it wrong. They bought a good right-back with the wrong profile, and Man United are now changing the profile of that right-back. Delot versus Wan-Bissaka is a very easy argument because Delot is somebody that could eventually play for a Real Madrid or a Barcelona or a Bayern Munich, whereas Wan-Bissaka never will because he hasn't got what you need to have at the top level in the modern game. You've got to have attacking prowess as a fullback in the modern game. Otherwise, clubs ain't going to look at you. They might look at you in the Italian league because they still love defending, but at the top echelon of football, if you can't attack, you won't make it. And that's where Man United want to go. So you have to say goodbye to Wan-Bissaka the same way you'd say goodbye to Victor Lindelof or Harry Maguire because they're edge-of-the-box defenders. it's the same thing, and they can't really play out from the back either. So, and Wan-Bissaka's no good with the... I mean, that's another thing that gets missed. Wan-Bissaka's very good defensively. He's not so good going forward. No one ever mentions this. He's also not good when Onana passes him the ball under pressure. He's not really a possession player that when he receives the ball, he's, you know, Delot's very comfortable. Luke Shaw's very comfortable. Wan-Bissaka always looked a bit uncomfortable when the ball was played to his feet. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Mazraoui works out. But I think he'll do well at West Ham. And I think most people will wish him all the best. So look, Wan-Bissaka to West Ham done. Respect. You know, I think in this world where players get a lot of criticism, and they do, especially at Man United, it's wrong to always chase the new toy. I think there should be a moment of reflection when somebody's given 5 years to the club and he cost us 50 million quid. I think we should take that moment to reflect on it and look at the positives and learn from the negatives. And yeah, I mean, you look at someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, Real Madrid would sign him in a heartbeat. Defensively, Wan-Bissaka craps all over him. Wan-Bissaka's immense defensively compared to Trent, but it's about going forward, isn't it? And I know Trent's a Liverpool player, but that's what it's all about. You know, the modern fullback has to be able to get forward. I mean, Kyle Walker is crap defensively. He's just really fast. Really, really fast, and it gets him out of jail. There is not really a need in the modern game for a defensive beast like Wan-Bissaka. It's all about going forward. But we thank him. Thank you very much. We have got a 2 o'clock show. This is just a very quick video for you to get your thoughts in. It's not really about what I've got to say, just a quick 15 minutes. We have got a 2 o'clock video, but we are waiting on De Ligt and Mazraoui, which will be today. There's no hint of when it's going to be, but make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. 2 o'clock show's probably going to be a little bit around Sancho because in Spain they're talking about the interest still. So, sorry, in France they're talking about the interest. I just want to say big up this community. Last night we went and found this information about France and PSG and the community around PSG and Sancho. It's now all coming out more solid this morning. So we'll have to see how that develops. Ashan says, with new centre-backs playing a higher line, it will definitely benefit Casemiro as well as a shorter distance between the midfield and the defence. Still need Ugarte, though. Ashan, I love you. I love and respect the fact that you're having a chat with yourself. I really do. It's just project what you're thinking. Go for it, kid. Go for it. Absolutely love it. Not what we're talking about, but you go for it. I don't necessarily disagree with you anyway. Love it. Remember being here when he came. Great player. This is Ollie's Football. Yeah, I mean, 5 years. 5 years. I felt when we signed Wan-Bissaka, we'd been doing the United stand for a very long time. But 5 years, that's a long time, isn't it? Long, long time. Ollie's Football says, I remember being here when he came as well. Great player. Wish him all the best. He had his moments with us. Says, I can't read that name there. I can't read it, mate, but thanks very much for the super chat. Right, okay, I'm going to leave it there because we could just go on and on and on. I just wanted to drop it there for prosperity that Aaron Wan-Bissaka's left. Give a bit of a thought. He deserves that. And smash a like on the video. I'll speak to you on the next one. Take care.